crazy about music. His favorite genre was blues, and he often used to carry a broom with him, pretending that it was a guitar, as Sonia came from a poor Baptist family and had married Robert at the age of 13. Talk about the vicious cycle. You're an underperformer, you're teased first for being black and then for being an underperformer. This is Africa, the cradle of mankind's birth, where powerful kingdoms arose with stories of worth. A youth-filled land, the youngest population, with diamonds and cocoa from its fertile foundation, exemplary leaders, their legacy told. Nkrumah, Mandela, their spirits bold. From Johnson Sirleaf's Liberia, where freedom lies, and her first female leader, so wise. Let courage and dreams unite as one for a brighter tomorrow where greatness is spun. In this beautiful, colorful, and friendly domain, greatness awaits, where hopes shall not wane, where tales of triumph weave a tapestry. Welcome to Today in African History. Of course, this is the legendary Jimi Hendrix. He was a rock music legend and one of the most talented guitarists of all time. He was born Johnny Allen Hendrix on the 27th of November 1942 in Seattle, Washington, to James Allen Ross Hendrix and Lucille Jeter. His parents had a tempestuous relationship, and Hendrix and his siblings were raised in difficult circumstances. He was often left in the care of relatives and acquaintances, while his parents neglected their duties. From an early age, Hendrix was crazy about music. His favorite genre was blues, and he often used to carry a broom with him, pretending that it was a guitar, as he couldn't afford to buy a real one. He first learned to play a broken ukulele, which had only one string. At the age of 15, his father finally relented to his endless yearning and bought him an acoustic guitar for $5. He taught himself to play by listening to other musicians such as Elvis Presley. His father bought him his first electric guitar in 1959. Hendrix joined a few small-time bands and began to perform with them. At the age of 19, he joined the army in order to avoid jail time for riding in stolen cars. He spent little over a year there and was discharged in June of 1962. During his service, he met fellow musician Billy Cox, and the two began performing together. They moved to Tennessee and formed a band called the King Casuals, so Casual spelled with a K. He also performed as a backup guitarist for several performers like Little Richard, Sam Cooke, and the Isley Brothers. So Jimi Hendrix, born on this day, born November 27, 1942, sadly passed on this day in 1970. Ben Carson is a famous surgeon who is well known for the surgeries he performed to separate conjoined twins. He was born in Detroit, Michigan on this day, September 18th. The year was 1951, to Sonia and Robert Carson. Sonia came from a poor Baptist family and had married Robert at the age of 13. When she found out her husband had another wife and family, She left him and took her two sons, Curtis and Ben, with her. As a direct consequence, Ben and his brother grew up in impoverished financial circumstances. Ben and Curtis initially went through a very difficult time at school. They went to a predominantly white school and would sometimes be teased by their classmates. Ben developed a nasty temper and would often get into fights with his classmates. He was also a low achiever academically and ranked at the bottom of his class, which led to more teasing by the other children. Now, talk of the vicious cycle. I've talked once or twice about the virtuous cycle and the vicious cycle. Talk about the vicious cycle. You're an underperformer. You're teased first for being black and then for being an underperformer. And then the vicious cycle goes on and on. Of course, you have a bad temper. Very, very understandable. Very understandable why he had a very bad temper as a young man. Sonia, so his mother, however, was determined to see her sons do better at school. So she took their education into her own hands. Take note, guys. She took their education into her own hands. She prohibited them from watching television except for 2 programs a week. She also frequently took them to the public library and made them read 2 books per week. The boys had to write book reports on what they had read, which their mother then checked. He eventually graduated from medical school. Obviously, I've fast forwarded his history now, so you can see how what their mom did led to him going into medical school. Now, of course, guys, if you're watching this, in case you didn't know, medical professionals are amongst the most intelligent people on the planet. It goes without saying. If you see someone who's a surgeon, a dentist, a medical doctor, a physician, whatever, in the medical field, they're usually at the top of intelligence. Okay? So they're usually very good in other subjects as well, not just subjects relating to medicine like biology and chemistry, for instance. Okay, so I'm going to continue. He eventually graduated from medical school and was chosen to be a resident at Johns Hopkins University, JHU. Within 5 years, he had become the chief resident in neurosurgery at Johns Hopkins University. In 1983, he was invited to work at Sir Charles Gairdner Hospital in Perth, Australia. He accepted the offer and gained tremendous experience working in Australia. He returned to Johns Hopkins a year later and was chosen to be the director of pediatric neurosurgery there. He was only 33 years old at the time. Dr. Carson has become well known for performing surgeries to separate conjoined twins, including a case to separate adult twins. He has had a good degree of success, although some of the surgeries resulted in partial brain damage or even death. However, he has made huge advances in the field and is known as one of the most respected surgeons of his time. He has performed famous surgeries in Germany, Zambia, Singapore, and many other countries. Because of his unwavering contribution to medicine, he has received more than 50 honorary doctorates and is a member of many distinguished boards. He was diagnosed with prostate cancer but has made a full recovery. Dr. Ben Carson has written many books. As you can see here, some of the books he has written are Gifted Hands, which was published in 1990, Think Big, 1992, Take the Risk in 2007, America the Beautiful in 2011, You Have a Brain in 2014, One Nation also in 2014, Why America Matters in 2021, Created Equal, The Painful Past, Confusing Present, and Hopeful Future of Race in America in 2022, and quite a few more books that he's written. He also not too long ago, turned to politics and launched an official bid for a presidential nomination. So, again, Dr. Ben Carson. His books are very, very inspirational. I think I've read 2 of his books, so go check out the books that he's read, as many as you can lay your hands on, especially if you have kids. Especially if you have kids. You have black kids in America, in Africa, in the United Kingdom, the rest of Europe, South America, Asia, Australia, wherever they are. They need mentors like Dr. Carson. They don't have to meet Dr. Carson. Just read about his life. Read about how he was an underachiever. And now he's one of the most famous neurosurgeons in the world. Not just the most famous, one of the most famous black neurosurgeons. He's one of the most famous neurosurgeons in the world. So he cuts across all races. And how did that begin? From home. From his mother taking charge of their education. Not just leaving the education of her own precious children who she held in her womb for 9 months each. She didn't just throw them into the school system and say, oh, you take care of them. Just in case she was paying school fees, for instance, she said, oh, after all, I'm paying the teachers to teach my kids, so take care of them. And then you just go on with your own business. Try and make out time for your children. It's very important. Very, very important. I cannot emphasize this enough. Very important. Because if you don't, there's going to be a knock-on effect on society. And it's not going to be very pleasant. Go to the jails and see what's going on. These are children, forward children who were neglected by their parents. Possibly, maybe not through their own fault, the fault of the parents, but adults. The reason why we're called adults is that we learn to take responsibility. Whatever happens wrongly is our fault, because if things happen positively, we're going to take credit for that. Okay, guys, that is close to the end of today's Today in History. I have one more thing to say before the end of today's Today in History. It's a very short one today. I've talked about the importance of us taking charge of our children's education, the importance of instilling confidence in our children, not making them feel inferior. Like I said, because they've been raised in the United States of America, for instance, for those who've been raised in the United States of America, they know a bit about their history. They know how they came. Their ancestors came from Africa to the United States of America. Some children would grow up with a lot of anger and resentment and inferiority complex, thinking, oh, my great-great-great-great-grandparents were slaves. What does that matter? You need to instill in them a sense of pride, a sense of purpose as well. They can learn from the bad examples around them, how some people have wrecked their lives with drugs, and these are adults. So we cannot say it's not the adults' fault. They're adults. They should be able to take responsibility for their actions. So we're in an environment or in a society where we see examples around us, examples of people who've messed up their lives, examples of parents who've neglected their children, and those children have become adults, and those adults have now become a strain on society, a menace, even sometimes a menace on society. Emerging people, they're doing all sorts, raping women, men, and all sorts of things that they're doing. But it all started in the home, and that can be changed. That is one of the purposes of this channel. I've set up this channel. I want to empower us as Africans, African descendant peoples, wherever they're found in the world. There's hardly anything. Let me not just say there's nothing. There's hardly anything under the sun that cannot be achieved. So I want to encourage your children, encourage yourself as well. If you're not where you plan to be in life at this point, you might be in your 30s, you might be in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, there's still hope. Your children would see from the example that you set that there is hope, that it can be done. That in spite of the station you are in life right now, you can push for better. You can make a better life for yourself and your children. Your family, your wife as well. people watching you. The larger society is watching you. They want to see what you can do, what you can make of your life in case you're not making the best of your life right now. Thank you for dropping by once again. If you are dropping by once again, and if you are dropping by once again and you like what we're sharing here, you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do us a favor, press the subscribe button right now. That would be very, very much appreciated. If you like the video as well, that would be absolutely fantastic. Share the video, turn on your notification bell as well so that you'll be notified whenever a new video drops, which interestingly will be tomorrow. It's the Today in African History channel, so the video is going to be dropping every single day until the 30th of June 2024. If you're here for the first time and you like what we're sharing here, do us a favor as well, make our young fledgling channel grow by clicking the like button, subscribing to the channel, turning on your notification bell, and sharing this video as well to like-minded people. See you tomorrow, hopefully. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.